My name's Howard Inns. I'm the marketing manager for Kcom's public sector business, and I'm joined today by Afshin Attari, who is our director of public sector and also the executive lead for the PSN or public sector network. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this short video, to give you an idea of what the public sector network is all about. And we're looking at it in two respects. One, in the respect of the central government programme to create a network of networks that can be used across the whole of public sector. But we're also going to be looking at it in a much more pragmatic way to look at what we're seeing happening in certain regions of the UK where individual public sector bodies are coming to market to create in their region a network that can be used by all of the local public sector bodies that exist there. Afshin, let me turn to you and ask you a fundamental question. All we hear about on the news is the need to reduce public expenditure, but these programmes sound like investing new money. Is that the case?
No, Howard. It's actually reusing existing infrastructure, next generation network infrastructure which exists, but in a much more efficient and cost-effective manner. It's really getting organisations which sit in a region, if we look at it from a regional perspective, to pool their resources and make use of a common shared infrastructure other than having many networks within that region. That's the first premise. The second premise is that majority of these contracts, the standalone contracts, are actually coming to an end and they're not fit for purpose. And it's a timely approach to actually pool these resources. So that's why the network economics and the benefits can come into parts. So effectively you could call it that the sum of the parts are actually greater than the whole, and if you create a whole which can serve the needs of the all of the users in that region, then that's clear benefits to be had.
Okay, so there's some direct cost benefits to be had. What about indirect cost savings?
Yeah, so if we move away from the technology now, the flexibility will create the ability to, for example, rationalise on your property portfolio. We're hearing from some of our customers, both police and local government, that if they had the ability to rationalise property and have the flexibility supported by technology, that would deliver great savings for them. You could have instances where a police officer can actually work out of a council building, which creates flexibility, etc., etc. So this is yet another clear opportunity for saving. The third point is around the additional services that you can deliver on a robust infrastructure, which could be unified communications or video conferencing, which again will support flexible working, different working methods, and again efficiencies in that arena, but more importantly supporting the green agenda around that we see around the environment. So it's very green as well.
Okay, Afshin, let's look at the central government programme. How is Kcom involved in that?
Okay, we are involved with the Cabinet Office in a number of areas. We are involved in the work streams which the Cabinet Office have set up for industry to support them and advise them, and you'll see those work streams on the slides. We're involved in the PSN governing body, which is the industry body where we listen and we learn, but also we advise from the guidance that we're given from the Cabinet Office. And again, that's an important role where we can ensure that learning is brought into our organisation with regards to building the capability, enhancing our capability in serving the needs of the public sector networks, both centrally and locally. And the last point is that we are engaged in supporting the procurement frameworks which are going to be set for the PSN services, both infrastructure and services, which will make the procurement of services, PSN services, much easier and adhering to government standards. So we're involved in that, and we will be responding to the framework tenders when they're issued.
Let's consider the regional PSNs. There's some out there already and there's others coming to market. What's Kcom's involvement with those?
I wouldn't say we have a fully blown regional PSN. We have Kent and Hampshire, which are very much working towards that because no one is PSN approved or ready as yet. But what we're doing is we are seeing a number of tenders out in the market for regional PSN procurements, and we are involved in those tenders. Within those tenders, we see a number of elements which are required. The first part is infrastructure. It's basically delivering infrastructure for connectivity of the various partners within a region. We have that capability within the group. A few examples: we deliver connectivity to 2,000 schools in the East Midlands area through the infrastructure that we use through building it or reusing current infrastructure. We deliver a similar service to 500 schools in Southwest Grid for Learning, again providing connectivity and infrastructure to those schools. Another example is our involvement in Digital Britain. We're involved in the South Yorkshire Digital Regions project and programme where we are delivering and building infrastructure. This is actually constructing infrastructure and delivering fibre to the curve. And we have a number of contracts within our police market and local government and health markets which have infrastructure requirements that we have delivered. The second part of that is technology. We work with a number of partners, namely Cisco and Avaya, where we bring the capability and the technology on top of that infrastructure and the connectivity part. So we have a lot of experience in that field. The third part is service, and I would classify service around service delivery, which is delivering against service level agreements, proactively monitoring the network, doing incident management, etc., to good cause, and we have that capability on the back of our managed services contracts, which I've described in the case of local government, police and health. But more importantly, in the context of PSN, it's the ability to create a services framework where the different type of user, depending on their role, can call upon that and depending on the type of organisation. So we do recognise that the needs of the partners within the PSN area varies, depending if you work for the council or if you could be working for the Citizens Advice Bureau or for the police. So that service flexibility where you can call upon the services and the amount of that service is very important. So we've built that capability on the back of our managed services experience in the police, local government arena, and more importantly around some of our PFIs and risk reward contracts that we've developed, which neatly leads me into the commercial part. The commercial part requires commercial flexibility because this is a long-term commitment. Partners will join, partners will leave, the requirements of the partners will vary. We built the commercial flexibility predominantly around, we have 3 PFIs where we've had to put together per user tariffs for a long period, 18 years, and in certain cases even the hospital hasn't been built. So we have created the commercial version which recognises that. Another example I would give is in the health service where we're working with a health authority for the issuing of the European health cards where citizens call in and they request their European health cards. What we've done is we've created a system by which we get paid based on receiving a call, completing a form and issuing a European health card. If we don't do that, we don't get paid. If we do, we get paid, which is very important. And the last one that I would, the example I would give is in the context of North Wales Police, where we're constantly looking at the savings that we can derive in the managed services contract and reinvesting that money and those funds into enhancing the service, which is adopting new technology, etc., etc. And one of the, if we're sticking with technology, a good example again with North Wales Police is that we've developed a system where the police officers can actually access criminal records through technology, and this technology reinvestment was as a result of us constantly reviewing the managed services contract, etc. So that's where we sit in the context of PSN. We see it as a great opportunity and we look forward to the challenge.
Thank you, Afshin. PSN is clearly an important topic. If you'd like more information, please take the time to visit our website. The contact details are available for you on the slide.